Welcome back to my channel, My Wild Adventures with me, Mark, and this week's video is all about reviewing the GoPro and whether it's still worth buying one in 2024. Okay, so in this week's video I'm looking at the GoPro Hero 10. I recently bought this second-hand in order to get some extra additional footage for the YouTube channel, so when I'm going outdoors or when I'm doing camping trips or walks or reviews, I can get some additional footage that I can't get with other cameras. So a GoPro obviously is an action camera, and I'm doing some action shots and some bike riding, walking, hiking and going into the hills and all that type of stuff. So I thought I could probably do with this on top of my DJI Pocket 2, which is my main vlogging camera at the moment. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing whether it's worth buying one of these. I've been using it for the past few weeks. I am very impressed by it. There are some pros and cons, and let's get down to business. Okay, so I will say this is a very, very good camera. It's really well made, it's really rugged, and it's produced really nicely with some really good sort of casing, and the screens are really impressive on it, and the lens looks really mega. It's a fantastic camera. I have had a couple of action cameras before. I had an Acaso, cheap sort of Amazon action camera. It was a load of rubbish. Don't buy one of them. It was £50. There's a reason why it was a £50 camera. It's absolutely awful, unusable in anything other than really bright light, and even then it struggles a little bit. This costs quite a few quid more than that, but you can tell. Okay, so this is a very, very good piece of kit. Okay, so it records in a number of different settings, which I'll go through towards the sort of middle of the video. Obviously 4K, 1080 and HD, blah, 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 blah. It goes through all them. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, because this is just a general review of how I'm finding using the camera, but I will give some information on some of the settings that you can use on the GoPro as you are filming. It takes an SD card, so you can, which I find really good, because obviously if you run out of space while you're out recording, you can replace it with another SD card, but I think that's standard for all cameras now. They all take an SD card. I don't really know why I mentioned that, but it also has an external battery, which is very, very useful. So obviously you can see here, I can take out the battery and I can replace with another battery, which is a little bit different to my DJI Pocket 2, which has a built-in battery, which is for the most part fine, but sometimes I wish I could change the battery on it. I probably could invest in another handle, which would have more battery in it, but expensive and really unnecessary. But it's nice that it has external batteries, so you can have a couple of batteries with you and change them over. In terms of the battery, actually, the battery life itself is not the best at the moment, in my opinion. Now, I've used it not extensively, so I can't fully comment, but I do find even when I switch the camera on, the battery sort of drains 5-6%. But however, that might be because I've got a used camera and that battery might be quite old. So I will obviously comment on that in a future video. I'll replace the battery. So it's not overly fair comment to make, but it is draining quite quickly, the battery. But that's because the quality of the camera records, you know, really high. 4K is quite a high quality, so it will drain the battery a little bit more. But I will obviously buy some new batteries and see what they're like. It doesn't do too bad. It still lasts an hour to an hour and a half recording at 4K, which is pretty impressive. I haven't fully tested that yet, but all I will say is when I switch the camera on, it does drain 5 or 6% straight away, which really confuses me, but that might just be my external battery. Okay, so let's go into the 5 reasons why I think you should still buy a GoPro in 2024. Number 1 is unique footage. Okay, so unlike a normal standard camera, these cameras are really, really rugged. So you can pretty much do what you want with them, and I mean really what you want with them. Apparently, according to the GoPro website, you can throw this out of a window, you can put it underwater, and you can even, you know, be really, really rough with it. And apparently it's designed to do that. Well, it is an action camera, so obviously that's the purpose of the camera. What I've found is that you can do things with this camera that you can't do with another standard camera.
Niall, catch!
Now that might be a little bit gimmicky at first, so obviously when you first get an action camera it's a bit gimmicky. Oh yeah, I can throw it out the window, or I can put it into the sea, and I can do a number of things with it that I can't do with other cameras. But actually when you're making YouTube videos, that's pretty useful. So you might want to, you know, connect it to a bike, for example, and, you know, it can be on your bike handle while you're recording on another camera, and then you can switch between viewpoints and stuff like that. You could also take it on a run You know, you could put it on a chest strap or you could put it on a head strap. It just gets you some really nice, unique footage that you wouldn't get with another sort of standard camera. So if you're taking the you know, for example, the Canon 250D, which is my photography camera, I have used this for filming, but I'm not overly happy with the footage that I get from it. So you couldn't do anything like that with this. It's too big and too bulky. And also the DJI Pocket 2, which I'm currently filming on now, you couldn't do anything with that either because, I mean, it's very, very delicate, this particular camera, and I wouldn't want to mess with it, and I certainly wouldn't want to mount it to a bike or mount it to a chest strap or a head strap. So in terms of getting footage, it's very unique, and you can get, you know, really nice sort of close-up shots of waves if you brush it over the sea, because it is waterproof, and very, very impressive because you can use it in the rain, and you can also go, you know, on lakes, rivers, sea, and stuff like that, and that gets you pretty unique footage if you ask me. So when you're making YouTube videos and you're using a main camera, it is nice to have a secondary camera just to get some different viewpoints and different angles. So I would recommend it for that, actually, because I've sort of got some really nice looking footage from it over the past couple of weeks. So other angles you could do, you know, for example, I've attached it to a drum kit when I've recorded the band, and I've also, you know, attached it to a drill and just done some fun videos with the kids. You know, they've sort of, I've gone up to them with a drill with no piece on it and just drilled the back of their necks just for a laugh.
What potentials for that is there?
But I mean, that's the kind of thing you kind of do with a GoPro a lot of the time, and that is gimmicky, and you won't do that forever. But you do have that option to mount it onto, you know, whatever you kind of like to, really, and you know, you do often get some really nice footage. Point number 2 is quality. Okay, so as I mentioned at the start of this video, this camera is really, really well made. If you have a look at this, I mean, it's really rugged, but the actual material that it's made out of, it's kind of really, really nice, and you can see how well made it is when you just look at it. You know, when I first picked it up, I was quite impressed. I did have an old GoPro years ago. I had a GoPro Hero 3, which was great at the time, but I wasn't really that impressed with it. Couldn't record anything anywhere near the quality that you get from this. The battery compartment is water sealed, so that's where the SD card and the battery goes, and that's water sealed. It's quite tricky to open. You have to really pull down on this lever and open it, but that's good because it means it keeps the battery sealed from water, and you just want to make sure that's shut there as well. On the other side, we've got a microphone drain. I think it's a microphone drain. Well, it's some kind of drain. So I tried to open this when I first got it, thinking that's where I could connect the microphone to, but it's just a drain. So that's what that looks like. And then you've got the on button and the mode button on the left-hand side there, and you've got the record button on the top. The nice thing about this is that you've got a front screen. So you can see there, this is the camera that I'm filming on, and you've got a really big reverse screen as well, and I'm double filming here, so you can see me on 2 cameras now. But it does have a really impressive looking screen on it. The screen is absolutely incredible, and the front screen's really good as well. So if you are vlogging with it, you can put it right in front of your face, and you can see yourself and you can see what's going on. And also the other side, the big screen, is really, really impressive as well. Okay, so that's really nice. As recording quality goes, this camera is really good, particularly on bright days. It picks up footage really, really well. So as you can see here, this is just me panning around the living room and just showing you what the footage is like in a sort of medium lit room. So there's just a bit of wintry daylight coming in, and you can see that the footage is actually quite okay. And another thing is how steady the footage is as well. So as you can see, I'm panning around the room here, and the footage is really, really steady, which is you know, a really good indication of a good camera, if you ask me. So if you've got steady footage like this without the use of a gimbal like the Pocket 2 has, then you know you've got a good camera. It's also really good for vlogging on. However, the microphone situation isn't amazing. So I've just got an inbuilt microphone on this camera right now, and this is the actual camera itself, so you can hear the quality of that microphone. In terms of the video, it looks great. However, it'd be nice to have the ability to connect an external microphone like you can with the Pocket 2. So I've got the DJI mic just connected wirelessly to the Pocket 2, and that never causes a problem. It's always good. I've used it in high winds, and it's really, really good as well. It's got a windshield built in, as you can see. And it would be nice to have that same option on the GoPro. You can't do that on a GoPro. So in terms of using it as a vlogging camera, you'd need to have some kind of external mic. And I have been told that you need to buy the GoPro Media mod in order to be able to connect a microphone to it, which I've been unsuccessful at doing. I've tried a couple of adapters and stuff like that. So it looks like I need to buy the actual GoPro mod in order to use this as a vlogging camera. But in terms of getting footage, if it's not windy and we're in the indoors, or we're in a tent, or we're in a car or whatever, it's fine. It does all right, and you can see it's quite a nice camera to use. So yeah, really decent quality camera. The options you've got in terms of filming, you've got standard 1080 at 120, you've got 4K at 24, you've got cinematic, which is 5.3K, and you've got slow-mo and basic, which is really, really high quality. So it's really good quality footage. You've got time-lapse options as well, and you've also got photo options too. And it's really, really easy to navigate around them. You can just click the screen, click where it's asking you to change the settings, and you just scroll through the menus and stuff like that. So it's really good, and I really like the big screen as well on it. It's pretty impressive. So I'm quite impressed with it. But that battery's drained by 10% now just from filming a minute of footage. So it might just be that I need another battery, and that battery is just a bit dud. Point number 3 is that this camera is extremely portable. I mean, look how small it is. I mean, I've got a steady handle on there, like a handle there. If I just take that off and have nothing on it, it's really small. You can put it in your pocket, and that makes it really useful for going away with, or for traveling with, and just putting it in your pocket, or just putting it in a tiny compartment in your bag, or even put it in a small bag of its own. So I'm really impressed with the size of it and how easy it is to carry around with you on a day out or a walk or whatever it is. That's really useful for people who are doing YouTube and they might be carrying a secondary camera. It's also really useful if you're going out on your bike and you can't really carry a big camera, and that could just go in a saddlebag or something along them lines, or you could even just wear it on a helmet mount or a chest strap or a head mount, whatever it is. So yeah, portability is really important these days, especially if you're going out and filming adventure stuff or outdoor stuff. So that's really good. But they've always been portable. But that's just one of the advantages of having a GoPro. It's small, portable and usable. So really impressed with that. In terms of quality at night or in low light conditions, it's not that bad. Actually, it's really impressed me, because the DJI Pocket 2, the one limitation of that is when it's dark, the footage does start getting a bit grainy. You know, you can really see the graininess on the footage. However, this camera, when you film at night, it's not amazing, I will say, it's not incredible, but when you film in low light, it's still pretty decent. And I think it does outperform the Pocket 2 in terms of low light footage, but still not incredible. Point number 4 is that it's rugged. Like as I said earlier in the video, you can throw it out the window, you can chuck it over the other side of the field, you can attach it to a dog. I've done all of these things, by the way. And you don't have to worry about it breaking that as such, because it's designed to do that. It's an action camera, so that's why you can attach it to your bike and you don't have to worry about falling off your bike, because it will probably survive. And I'm just impressed with the fact that you can do that, but obviously that's part of having an action camera, is that you are meant to do things, you know, silly things that you're not necessarily going to do with another camera. You know, if I attach my Canon 250D to my bike handlebars, I'd be super worried if it fell off that the camera would smash to pieces. But with the GoPro, you don't need to worry about that, because that's what it's designed for. So even to this day, when there's other cameras out there, you know, you can get all kinds of different action cameras and vlogging cameras and everything, I still think the GoPro wins in terms of its ability to just be thrown around and lashed around and dropped and whatnot. That's quite useful if you're doing adventurous stuff, or you're even just worried about your camera breaking in general because you've got kids or whatever. So the ruggedness of the camera is really impressive, and I have tested it as well. I've thrown it across a field, I've dropped it out the window, and all bunch of different stuff. You're supposed to be able to put it underwater without the waterproof case on, just like this. I haven't tried that yet, and actually I'm not going to. I'm going to buy a waterproof case for it, because I don't really fully trust that is fully waterproof. And point number 5 is that this camera is quite cheap, actually. It's not too expensive, particularly if you buy used or refurbished. I bought this, like I do with all of my camera gear at the moment. I bought it used from CEX, which is a used store. They sell all types of different things, including camera equipment, and I've had a few different things off them. It cost me £220 used from CEX. It comes with a 2-year warranty as well, which is quite nice. I've no idea how good that warranty is or whether they'll fulfill it, but it's nice to know that it's there and I can argue the case. But really good. and I can't argue with that for 220 quid. I did have to sell another camera to buy it because that's the situation I'm in. I can't go and buy cameras after cameras after cameras. So I did have to sell other camera equipment in order to be able to get this, but I'm happy with that, and I bought it for 220 quid, and for that price, it's unbeatable, and it's pretty much nearly brand new when I got it as well. So there's no issues there. But in terms of buying new, it's still only a few hundred quid actually, so they're not particularly expensive for what they are. The GoPro Hero 13, I think, is the latest GoPro that's out. I'm not going to talk about the differences between this and the 13 because I've not used the 13 and I don't fully know. But the GoPro Hero 13 is around £380 or something along them lines, but you can get a GoPro Hero 10, which is exceptionally good still to this day, for around about £200 to £250, which is really, really good because it's an exceptionally good camera and I'm very, very impressed with it. So in summary, I do highly recommend this camera. There are some limitations in that you can't connect a wireless microphone to it, which would be nice if you could just connect the DJI microphone to it and just use that as well. You do have to have the media mod plugged into the USB-C port there on the bottom and get a microphone working on that. And there's also nowhere to mount a microphone. So if you use the Rode Go mic, for example, you wouldn't be able to mount it. You'd have to come up with some kind of solution there. So there's things like that that are minor, minor things, but would be nice to have. However, it's not designed to have necessarily a microphone on it, really. It's an action camera, so it's designed to attach to your bike, but it would be nice to have that actual option. Also, it didn't come with any accessories when I bought it. I did buy it used, so I don't know if you get accessories. I don't think you do, though, when you buy it new. So I did have to go and buy an accessory kit from Amazon. So I will do a review of that accessory kit as well. It came with all kinds of stuff like chest mounts, head mounts, bike mounts, all kinds of different mounts. Really fun to use and fun to play around with. Additionally, the SD card situation, I just put a standard SanDisk SD card in here and it would not work. It was not fast enough. So I have linked in the description a bunch of SD cards that will work with the GoPros. Because it records in 1080 and 4K, it does need a faster SD card to get that high quality video in. So I had to go and buy a SanDisk Extreme, yes, Extreme, in order to be able to record video on this. Otherwise it would just stop after a minute. But that's pretty standard for any camera recording at high definition or 4K. So I'd highly recommend the GoPro in 2024 still. Very useful cameras, especially if you're recording YouTube videos, especially if you're going outdoors and you're doing a bunch of filming on your bike or just capturing people doing skiing or running or whatever it is. It's really good. Definitely unique in that you can mount it on different things and you can also throw it around and you can do what you want with it, really. So yes, I would absolutely recommend a GoPro. Even the Hero 10 is very, very good. The quality of it's outstanding, and actually the build and the way it just looks and stuff and the screens on it are really impressive. Highly recommended. Go and buy yourself one if you need to record unique footage or get some action footage, etc, etc. On next week's video, I will be talking about this kit that I bought alongside the GoPro. So this is a GoPro mount kit and I did buy it from Amazon. So we'll be talking about the contents of this. I'll be going through it, I'll be unpacking it, and I'll be showing you what you get in that kit and whether it's any good. It comes with a bunch of different stuff. So make sure you watch next week's video and subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when that goes up. So we'll be talking about a run through of all the equipment you get in this lovely little kit. Thank you for tuning into this week's video. I hope you found the review useful. Obviously, there's plenty of GoPro reviews out there, but I just thought I'd discuss whether it's still relevant to have one in 2024 as a YouTuber or filming any footage in terms of being outdoors or whatever else. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Next week, I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the GoPro mount kit that I bought from Amazon, very cheap. And that's always fun watching an unboxing video. So subscribe to the channel to make sure you get the notifications for that one. And also like the video if you can and give us a little comment just to say you enjoyed it if you did. I will be continuing with the wild camping budget series after the next couple of weeks of videos because we're going away this week. The weather's been a bit rubbish. It's not been great to record wild camping videos in terms of being outdoors and reviewing equipment because there's been storms, there's been rain, there's been wind. So I'll be continuing with that series. Episode 4, I'll be reviewing the Vango Scarful 200 tent and doing a bit of a walk around. And then there's another bunch of videos I'll make on water, filters and other equipment that you might use for wild camping. All budget stuff, and I'll be reviewing whether it's any good for wild camping.
And it's in.